What does it mean to live freely? To question everything society has told you? To find truth, not through doctrine but through direct experience. This was the path walked by Jiddu Krishnamurti, one of the most enigmatic and transformative thinkers of the 20th century. This is his story, the remarkable beginnings of Jiddu Krishnamurti. Born in 1895 in a humble Brahmin family in Madanapalle, India, Jiddu Krishnamurti's early life seemed ordinary, until his extraordinary destiny was unveiled. One day, while playing on the banks of a river, a young Krishnamurti caught the attention of the Theosophical Society, a group devoted to exploring spiritual liberation. They declared him the future world teacher, chosen to lead humanity into a new age of enlightenment. Alongside his brother Nitya, Krishnamurti underwent years of preparation. This included rigorous education, global travel, and spiritual training. The world waited for their future teacher to rise, yet within him doubts brewed. Little did they know this young boy destined to be a leader would reject it all, embarking on a completely different path, breaking free and finding his voice. In 1914, Krishnamurti arrived in London to further his education. He quickly rose as a celebrated figure, and by the early 1920s his presence was electrifying crowds within the Theosophical Society. But privately, turmoil brewed. He began questioning the teachings he was meant to deliver and the rigid structures of organized religion. By 1924, a profound spiritual awakening altered his perspective forever. Then came the loss of his beloved brother Nitya in 1925, plunging Krishnamurti into grief. These moments forced him to reevaluate everything. 4 years later, in 1929, he made the unthinkable decision to dissolve the Order of the Star, the global organization formed to support his role as spiritual leader. In an address that shocked audiences, he declared, "Truth is a pathless land." From that day on, Krishnamurti rejected titles, hierarchies, and organized religion, advocating instead for individual freedom and direct understanding. His unorthodox approach forever changed spiritual discourse. Understanding fear and breaking free. At the heart of Krishnamurti's teachings was a profound and bold message. True freedom begins by looking within. He emphasized that the transformation of the individual is the foundation for transforming society. According to Krishnamurti, the world we see around us is a mirror of our inner selves, a reflection of our fears, desires, and conflicts. He argued that societal issues like division, greed, and violence are not isolated phenomena, but rather projections of the turmoil that exists within each individual. Krishnamurti continuously challenged individuals to take radical responsibility for their emotions, actions, and thoughts, rather than attributing their circumstances to external systems, ideologies, or institutions. He rejected the idea that lasting change could come from political, religious, or social structures alone, and instead urged humanity to deeply examine the mind's conditioning. He believed that true freedom requires breaking away from these patterns, questioning assumptions, and cultivating awareness. By doing so, individuals could awaken to a state of clarity, unburdened by fear or societal expectations, thereby contributing to a more harmonious world. In essence, Krishnamurti's teachings served as a call to action, not just to passively observe the world, but to actively engage in self-inquiry as a path to both personal and collective liberation. Among his most profound lessons was the understanding of fear and its impact on our lives. Krishnamurti taught that fear is not an inherent part of who we are, but instead arises from the activity of thought. It stems from our tendency to dwell on past experiences, replaying memories of pain or failure, or to project ourselves into an imagined future filled with uncertainties and potential dangers. This mental habit traps us in a cycle of worry and anxiety, disconnecting us from the present moment. Krishnamurti emphasized that the key to overcoming fear lies not in suppressing or escaping it, but in observing it with complete awareness. By facing fear directly, without avoidance, judgment, or labeling, we begin to see it for what it truly is, a construct of the mind. This process of observation allows us to separate ourselves from fear, to see that it is not an intrinsic part of our being, but something created by our thoughts. Through this understanding, fear loses its grip on us. The energy once consumed by fear can then be redirected toward greater clarity and freedom. This dissolution of fear, Krishnamurti argued, opens the door to true liberation, a state of being in which we are no longer bound by the limitations imposed by our worries and insecurities, allowing us to live with a deeper sense of peace, presence, and authenticity. He emphasized the concept of choiceless awareness, a profound state of mind where one observes their thoughts and emotions without judgment, bias, or attachment. This practice, he believed, allowed individuals to see reality as it is, rather than through the lens of preconceived notions or personal biases. Krishnamurti argued that tradition, ideology, and authority often act as barriers, limiting our ability to perceive truth and locking us into patterns of conditioned thinking. He encouraged a deep, personal exploration of life, free from external influences, and warned against blindly following any doctrine, including his own teachings. For Krishnamurti, true understanding could only come through questioning and self-awareness, emphasizing the importance of independent thought and insight over reliance on established systems or belief structures. Relationships, he said, are a window into ourselves. They reveal our attachments, insecurities, and expectations. By observing without trying to control these dynamics, we could cultivate deeper harmony and understanding with others. Relationships, he said, are a window into ourselves. They serve as mirrors, reflecting back our inner worlds, our attachments, insecurities, desires, and expectations. In every interaction, whether joyful or challenging, relationships reveal the emotional patterns and beliefs we carry within us. They offer us an opportunity to confront parts of ourselves we may not have been fully aware of, inviting introspection and growth. By observing these dynamics with curiosity rather than judgment, and by resisting the impulse to control or manipulate them, we can foster a deeper sense of harmony within ourselves and with others. This practice of mindful observation allows us to build more authentic, compassionate connections, strengthening the bonds we share with the people around us. Most importantly, Krishnamurti inspired many to live fully in the present. By shedding the weight of psychological time, the past and future, we reconnect with the beauty of life as it unfolds. Krishnamurti's teachings transcended religion, philosophy, and geography. His call for self-inquiry, clarity, and freedom continues to inspire seekers of truth across the globe. His story isn't just about one man, it's an invitation for all of us to wake up, question, and truly live. What questions will you ask yourself today? The first step to freedom starts with curiosity.